Hello. I wanted to make a video addressing this recurring question about which pets should we focus on. And given that we have lots of pets, I'm mainly talking about fire pets on this one. Also, I should say that if you're willing to spend some money on getting the strongest UR pets, then there is not much of a debate, just go for it. Most high-rank players use purely a combination of UR pets. The Fairy Dragon, now the Son of Devil, Angel, Flame Wielder, and Gale sometimes, not as much though. But for the most part, the debate will focus on which SSR we should be working on. So let's go through the gallery. As I mentioned, we're going to look at the red pets, which are the fire pets. So let's begin at the beginning. Well, not so much. These ones are not so good, but Vanessa. Don't overlook Vanessa. At least for the early game, she's pretty handy. Her elemental burn will buff your damage by 30% for 10 seconds and also your critical hits by 13%. And considering she's pretty easy to evolve, she can be a decent member of your pet team for the first 50 to 60 levels. Yes, of course, until you get this guy, the elemental fox, then probably you can discard Vanessa. Unlike Vanessa, the fox mainly buffs your crit rate, a bit of damage as well, like around 8%, but it's mostly a good chunk of critical rate. This pet seems ideal for rogues and mages. I think rogues have a high attack speed, and the more hits done, the more chances to get the critical damage, while mages that already have a high critical damage can get that extra 40%, depending on your start evolution, can make a big difference on your damage output. Personally, I use Elemental Fox for scenarios where I can focus purely on damage, like Treasure Land and Beast Rampage, Ore Mine, of course, you don't need to worry about getting killed by the turtle. Guild Realm, pretty helpful, as long as you have reliable healers in your guild. And recently, Abyss Lord as well, regarded that you have enough sustain from other sources. I've seen rogues and archers using the Elemental Fox for PvP. For a mage, I would not recommend that, because in combat, I'd rather have more utility and sustain instead of just pure damage. Now let's look at Scarlet Naga. This pet is made for mages and oracles, anyone that dwells in magic. The thing with this pet is that even though it got a really high damage potential, her skill works much like the burning earth from mages, so you will need your target to stay inside the area of effect, which is why it can work well for some beasts and bosses in general, but not so much for PvP, because your rivals can just move away. Next one in the rooster is this weird looking fella. I think it looks like a bird. The Celestial Guardian. A bit similar to the Scarlet Naga, with the difference that his AoE is much bigger and has a small chance to stun your enemies. The best place for this guy is Treasure Land. Some guildmates suggested it to me, and since then he's been my MVP for Treasure Land. Because I use the transmog option. If you don't have it yet, or you are not using it, you should. Here you can place other pets and transmog your main team. You would only get the skill at the level of the pet you're transmogging. So even though my Spirit of Nature is 11 stars, I'm getting the 5-star skill strength, which is okay. I mean, I combined it with the fox, so the buff plus the AoE works decently well. But other than Treasure Land, I would not recommend Celestial Guardian. Let's take him out of there. I'm not using it now. Okay, who's next? Anubis. He's really good to fight against oracles. You can cut down their healing into half. And I've also seen archers using this pet, which helps them abuse even more their movement speed. But it's a very situational and specific, and you are not always battling oracles. So unless you have a specific duel you want to tackle, I would not main Anubis, but have one for the transmog option. Also, I like the look of Anubis. When he evolves to 10 stars, he changes from this Egyptian divinity to a cool corsair, which is cool. And now this guy, we all know this guy, the Pyro Dragon. He would be your BFF for the early and the mid game. He excels as a finisher, doing increased damage when the target have lost some of its HP. Yet later on, when you are getting close to 80 and 90 levels, your main character would be strong enough so you will no longer depend as much on your Pyro Dragon damage. And particularly as a mage, you will benefit more from other skills and not just raw power. Still, he's a pretty solid fella, for sure. Lava Lord now. Well, personally, I find his skill pretty weak, but there's a catch. He has one of the best aptitudes for the pet array. The intelligent aptitude is pretty high, 1361. So if you get some Lava Lord, save the copies and evolve when possible, he would be a pretty good, if not the best, support on the slots 2 or 4. And last but definitely not least, the Flame Wielder. She's an UR pet, but you can get her through the Windbell summon with a bit of luck. What can we say about her? She's pretty useful. Her damage? Well, her damage is alright, not crazy strong. But it comes with immunity both to crowd control and damage. And that is really helpful for most combat scenarios. You can use her aggressively to chase your enemies or as a form of disengage and reposition. And if you time correctly, she can help you counter some of the fairy dragon damage that most people are using right now. So overall, she is very versatile. And on top of that, Her blessed ability allows her to revive 25% chances, and that's a good amount that will keep her in the fight. As a free-to-play, it will take longer to evolve, but it's still worth it. Of course, all of this is open for debate, and it is best to get a feel and try it yourself. But as a conclusion, I could say try Elemental Fox for PvE scenarios, Flame Wielder for combat strategies, and Celestial Guardian for Treasure Land, and Pyro Dragon. Always keep him close, he's a very reliable source of damage. Get use of that transmog option and give some of these guys a chance. Any suggestions or questions, leave a comment, I'll get back as soon as I can. And on the next video, we will be talking about these guys, the green pets, wind pets. But for now, it's bye bye.